for those who don't know what washboarding is, this is washboarding. It's sort of caused by the suspension of the cars. All cars are fairly uniform natural frequencies in their suspension. So what you find is they form this sort of rippling on the road, which is very bouncy, especially if you get it at the right frequency. And the right frequency is about 15 miles an hour. If you actually get up to about 25 to 40, you know, the car and the washboarding are at different frequencies and you don't notice it too much. However, that means there's always a bumpy bit that you've got to go through. Oops, I zoomed in too much here. There's always a bumpy bit you've got to go through when the suspension and the washboarding are at the same frequency. That's washboarding. Anyway, this road's not too bad. There's some more. That's about the right frequency, you see. Okay, this is just a quick guide to driving on washboarding. If you actually keep the speed up, washboarding doesn't affect you too much. However, keeping your speed up on windy roads like this is just suicidal, because when you actually go fast over the washboarding, the wheels don't make that good of contact with the ground. So what you actually find is you can feel the car drifting all over the place, which is just suicidal on windy, bendy roads, especially in the mountains like this. Of course, keep it in the compression braking as long as you can. That way, brakes are more the emergency spare. The engine's by far the best component for dissipating energy on your car. And this is obsidian and the obsidian flow. As you can see, there's not just a little bit of this. There is tons, thousands of tons of the stuff. Glittering everywhere. So all this is high silica rock, which is mostly crustal rock, that has cooled quickly, and it gives you these very smooth glass. When you cool it quick, you got to cool it quick. Shame it doesn't really tell you how it cooled quickly. This is just to give you an idea of how much of the stuff there actually is here. Actually make the wall out of the stuff. And yeah, ships all over the northwest by the Americans. Traded it, valuable material. Pretty, sharp, good for making stuff. You know, cutting edges and the such like. Oh, here's a pretty dilemma. So I'm up at Crater Lake again, with the magnificent scenery. And the wind, there's this wide open space, great for flying a plane. Especially such as, you got to bear in mind that this would be the maiden flight of the plane. So you'd probably want to fly it somewhere where you have a reasonable chance of recovering the plane if it all goes wrong. Anyway, so, you know, a bit of altitude and you would get great views of the lake. The problem is the wind, we're both high. You know, 7 to 8,000 feet here, and experience has shown that even modest winds at this sort of altitude will tip the plane over, and that's without it actually being the maiden flight. So it's a bit of a dilemma. Okay, prudence is the better part of valor. The wind changes and comes from all directions. I've given some serious thought to flying, but maiden flight at altitude with variable wind gusting up to 20 miles an hour, it is probably suicidal. Especially with a park flyer who has limited control. you know, just like elevator and rudder. So I think I'm going to move on. But I mean, the brakes in it was dead calm, dead easy to fly in this. I don't know. I think we're going to try something with fewer question marks attached when I've only got. And here comes the wind again. You see, something with fewer question marks attached. Seeing as I've only got 2 planes left, you know, when hope goes, there'll only be 1 left. Okay, what we have primarily here is a river that flows gently upstream, then it comes down, and it's sort of torrents down here at a good old speed, and then it just flows into nowhere. But it doesn't flow into nowhere. What it's doing is, this is an old lava tube, which is why the river flows so quickly down it, and it emerges just down here. And so this is a lava tube very similar to the ones that we saw in Craters of the Moon, and there's also loads of them further north from here, south of Bend, near Lava Lands. And they're meant to be very good, and I had them recommended to me by someone on my board, and also several people en route. Unfortunately, when I got there, they were shut for the night, and I had to be moving on, so I missed out on them. I think I've been there before. They're huge lava tubes, like 30-40 feet across or something. But this one's a little peculiar, because this has you see all this sort of hexagonal stuff here, and this is where water's flowing over the top and rounded it. And really all over this place, there is this hexagonal lava, which we've seen all over America. We saw it at Devil's Tower, although in Devil's Tower the blocks were 20 tons compared to these, which were a couple of kilos. We saw them in the Columbia Valley with the crystallized lava flows, and in Yellowstone. So what I think you had here, this is this slowly cooling lava, is initially you had the lava tube come through and form its tube, and then later another flow came over on top and slowly crystallized on top, giving you the hexagonal lava. Now that's only my guess, of course, but sorry, man, that's just my best guess. There's some more of it just there where the stream comes out. Okay, there, and there is where the river emerges, and here you got all this hexagonal lava again. Interesting, eh? Okay, this is more up by the natural bridge. This is where the river emerges. It comes down a bit, and it vanishes again. Well, part of it does, and the rest of it goes down down that gully there. It's got quite a fast flow to it, this. Okay, according to the board, the lava tube that way has collapsed, so the water actually returns to the river. So the thing is collapsed some way further on, but you can see the sort of nature of the lava tube. And yeah, this is basically a collapsed lava tube that it's running through here. So let's see what it looks like from the bridge. Yeah, and from the bridge you can sort of see the layers of lava, the very fast flow of the river, and going downstream into a picturesque and sedentary on its way to the Pacific, which is where I'm going.